9 frozen bodies, 9 lives stopped in the snow. The date was February 1959. The place was the desolate northern Ural Mountains of the Soviet Union. The story began as a simple, ambitious hiking trip, a test of skill endurance against the brutal beauty of a Siberian winter. It ended in a chilling mystery that has echoed through decades, a puzzle of scattered clues and terrifying questions that refuse to be silenced. People still ask, their voices hushed with a mixture of awe and fear. What happened on that cold, unforgiving night? The wind still blows over the pass, carrying with it the whispers of an event that defies simple explanation, a moment frozen in time. The scene itself is a study in silent horror. The hikers were not reckless amateurs. They were students and friends, bright and capable, from the Ural Polytechnic Institute. They were bound by a shared passion for the outdoors and a desire to push their limits. Their leader was Igor Dyatlov, just 23 years old. He was the meticulous planner, the one who mapped their ambitious route toward Mount Oderten. He was known for quiet confidence and experience in difficult expeditions. He was the heart of the expedition, the glue that held them all together. Zinaida Kolmogorova, 22, Lyudmila Dubinina, 20, Rustem Slobodin, 23, Yuri Doroshenko, 21, Alexander Kolovatov, 24, Semyon Zolotaryov, 38, Nikolai Thibaut Brignol, 23, Yuri Krivonishenko, 23, and Yuri Yudin, the lone survivor who turned back early due to illness. Each one was a person with dreams, with families waiting at home. Their personal diaries and photographs paint camaraderie and joy, laughing, building snow shelters, posing proudly against the winter landscape. They never knew their story would become one of the world's most chilling and unsolved mysteries. The expedition officially began on January 27, 1959. After Yuri Yudin departed due to severe sciatic pain, the remaining 9 continued their trek into the vast, silent wilderness. They walked, they laughed, they meticulously documented their progress in journals with their cameras. The surviving photos show confidence and strength, completely unaware of the fate gathering on the horizon like a storm cloud. They moved deeper into the northern Urals. The landscape grew more severe, the weather harsher with biting winds and heavy snowfall, but nothing they hadn't trained for. On January 31st, they reached the highland edge, built a labaz to lighten their packs, and prepared for the ascent. On February 1st, they entered the pass that would bear Dyatlov's name. Worsening visibility and strong winds likely pushed them off course. They set up their tent on the exposed eastern slope of Kholat Shakal, Dead Mountain. Then something went terribly wrong. The last entry was made, the last photograph taken. After that, silence. The search began in earnest on February 20th, after families and the Institute raised the alarm. Volunteer students joined. Military planes and helicopters swept the mountains. For days, nothing. On February 26th, a pilot saw it on Kholat Syakhl. The group's tent lay half-collapsed, nearly buried in snow. It had been sliced open, deliberately, from the inside. Shoes lined up, warm clothes left behind, jackets, supplies, a map, journals, even a flask of vodka, untouched. Outside, a trail of footprints led down toward sparse trees a mile away. Some prints were bare, others only in socks. A few showed a single felt boot. An orderly retreat turned to chaos. No evidence of an avalanche. Poles left standing. No signs of a struggle or of anyone else. What could frighten 9 experienced hikers into the killing cold? It was as if a silent, invisible threat had descended upon the camp. At a towering cedar tree, a small fire's remains, and the first 2 bodies, Yuri Doroshenko and Yuri Krivonishenko, died of hypothermia. Their hands were scraped and raw. Branches were broken high above. Someone had tried to climb, to see, or to escape something on the ground. Igor Dyatlov, Zinaida Kolmogorova, Rustem Slobodin, frozen as if trying to return to camp. More clothing than the first two, but still inadequately dressed. Dyatlov faced the tent. Kolmogorova lay furthest upslope, frozen mid-stride. Slobodin had a minor skull fracture, yet like the others, the official cause, hypothermia. They split, 2 at the cedar trying a fire, 3 turned back toward the tent. Heroic, fatal. No signs of other people, no large animal tracks. Panic, then purpose, then the elements. 5 found, 4 still missing. The search would go on for months, and the worst was yet to come. The mountain waited. On May 4th, as the thaw began, the last bodies were discovered. Buried under more than 10 feet of snow, 250 feet beyond the cedar. These hikers had not simply frozen to death. Thibaut Brignoles had a massive skull fracture. Zolotaryov and Dubinina had numerous broken ribs. The force, said the examiner, was immense, like a car crash, yet without external trauma. No bruises matching the bone-crushing injuries. The most disturbing, Lyudmila Dubinina was missing her tongue, eyes, and parts of her lips. Officials said soft tissues decomposed in running water, an explanation many dispute. The 4 were better dressed, clothes scavenged from comrades. Some clothing showed traces of radioactive contamination. How did 3 suffer catastrophic internal injuries with no external marks? A simple fall couldn't explain the symmetrical chest compressions. The hint of radiation fueled darker theories. The case was no longer just why they fled, it became what they met in the dark. One enduring official explanation: a slab avalanche striking the tent at night. The cracking sound or sudden weight could trigger panic. Fearing burial, they cut out, fled barefoot and underdressed. They moved in line to escape slides. Crushing injuries could be from immense snow pressure in the ravine, a minor fracture in the chaos. But the slope was under 30 degrees. The tent wasn't crushed. Poles were undisturbed. Odd for a significant slide. Tracks were orderly at first, not the chaos of disaster flight. Why didn't they simply return and dig out gear after the danger passed? A small localized slide could explain the initial evacuation, but not the full spectrum of evidence. From minimal tent snow load to precise internal injuries, a classic avalanche falls short. In the Cold War, a persistent theory is secret military weapons testing. Tests in remote areas were common. Perhaps they strayed into a zone. A blast, a blinding flare, or a shockwave could spark panic and cause powerful internal injuries without external marks. Another group reported strange orange lights that night. Traces of radiation, secretive handling, and a vague conclusion, fuel to the cover-up theory. Possibilities include sonic booms, exposure to nerve gas, or other agents inducing terror. Some even suggest KGB involvement, yet evidence is absent. No declassified tests there that night. Radiation levels were relatively low. Orange spheres could be meteorological or flares. A compelling shadow, but without a smoking gun, still a shadow. One is infrasound. Wind over the ridge creating low frequencies that induce terror. A Kármán vortex street bombarding the hikers with infrasound. Panic without a visible cause. But it doesn't explain the brutal injuries. Severe hypothermia can cause paradoxical undressing and terminal burrowing, explaining near nudity and desperate sheltering in snow, but not the initial cause or crushing trauma. Human or animal attacks? Investigators found no supporting tracks or defensive wounds. The Mansi were peaceful. Escaped prisoners or infighting lack evidence. An avalanche explains the flight, but not the injuries. A weapon explains the injuries, but lacks proof. Infrasound explains the panic, but not the violence. Hypothermia explains behavior, but not the cause. The facts stand like stone markers, pointing in different directions. So, what do you think happened on that mountain? Was it a tragic confluence of natural events? A freak accident of wind and snow? Was it the cold, indifferent hand of a secret military operation?